How to make a sales invoice part 2, the report. Part 1 we saw how to create this invoice, query invoice here, which selects the record for the sale that's currently being looked at. To remind you, it does this by query by form, the sale date and the customer ID being the query criteria, which Microsoft Access looks up by looking at the sale form and looking at the current record. Now, making the report. So, create report using Wizard, double click, and we want query invoice, all of those fields, click next, view it by customer, and we'll add a grouping level for sale date and just change that so that it's not grouped by month but just normal. And next, sort by product name, summary option, and we need to have detail in summary so that we can see what we need to see. Left align 1, corporate is fine, and we'll call it report invoice. Click finish, and it will put together the report for us, and we can see we've got the name and address of the customer. We need to edit the invoice title, we need to remove these unnecessary labels, and there we see the 3 products, and there we see the total. Now we'll have to delete the excess parts of this invoice, but essentially there we are. We just need to go into the report editing mode, and we need to remove the parts that we don't want. So for example, we don't want to say RPT, we want invoice there, and we want that to be on the page header. I'll take these lines off, and obviously we need to add the name of the business here and the address of the business. We don't need to have these items. We just need to have contact name, address, city, region and postcode. And we can move that up. We'll close the report header, and we will take the date from here, put the date up at the top as today's date of the invoice, and we'll take out the contact name summary, close that up. Page, it might be more than one page. We'll take off the sum, we don't need that down there on the report footer. Page footer, take out that line, close that up again, and let's see how that's looking. Save the report, and it's beginning to look a little bit more like an invoice. And I will stop at that point. So you'd customize that according to the particular requirements that you have. Now, having made the invoice, we now need to make that invoice open from the form. So open the sale form so that when we're looking at a particular record like this one, or making a sale, we can have that report open. So command button, and I'm going to create a command button there, and it's going to be report operation, preview the report. There's a report invoice, and I'm going to use a right arrow blue. Next, always give your command buttons a sensible, meaningful name. Command, and what was it? Preview RPT invoice, and finish. And that already exists. Try a new command buttons. I've done this. I'll just call it invoice 2. There we go, and there's the code. I should have always delete the code that you don't want anymore from your forms. and then label that with an appropriate label, which is preview invoice. And that little green bit there is just an unassociated label error, which we can just delete. And click on save, and then we can test. So here we go. Press the button. Here's the invoice for Alexander Camino. And if we go to the first record for Antonio Moreno and do the invoice there, we have an invoice for Antonio Moreno and his gumbo mix that he bought. Now, obviously, all this stuff needs tidying up. There we go. That's the basic idea. So there we are. And that's the end.